What's going on, everybody? Good afternoon. Hope you guys are doing well today. And we are moving on to a new position. That's right. We got a new position to consider. It is going to be right tackle. Right tackle. And obviously, last offseason, we extended our right tackle, Abe Lucas, gave him a 3-year extension. So we don't need a new right tackle right now. But do pay attention to this group. These are the guys who often make the most sense for a slide inside to right guard. And we do need a right guard. Maybe not right now, but in the near future, we will. This is Anthony Bradford's final season on his contract, and I don't think we're going to bring him back. And even if we do, we don't really have a backup. I guess we have Christian Haynes, but he has shown absolutely nothing so far. So I do think that there's something to be said for the right tackle spot for the Seattle for the Seattle Seahawks. Simply because these guys tend to be a little bit bigger, more powerful, more focused on run blocking, and if they don't have what it takes to cut it at tackle, they often slide inside to right guard. This video is sponsored by Prize Picks. More on them later. We're going to start with Francis Mauigoa of Miami. He is considered top dog for this position right now, although, again, it's not entirely clear where he will end up in the NFL. 21 years old, Miami Hurricane, 6 foot, 5.5, 329 pounds. So as far as right tackles go, he's relatively short, but very heavy. Arm length is barely passable for tackle play, but it's not really good, which leads some people to believe he won't make it at tackle. He's got big hands. Every big board has him in the top 16, all except one have him in the top 10. One has him in the top 5. The aggregate actually does put him top 5. He is highly touted in this draft. Coming off a really nice year on PFF, good grades. Did allow a decent amount of stuff pressure-wise, but keep in mind he is a tackle, so the numbers are naturally going to be inflated. 7 penalties is not great. So the positives with Mauigoa, power and violence he plays the game with is very notable. Very violent player, a lot of strength. He's got the mobility to play tackle in the NFL. He can shuffle. He has the lateral agility to at least cut it. His refined hand technique is notable. He's 21 years old and he's already really good at using his hands. He looks like a prototypical guard as well. So if he does slide inside the guard, there's no reason to believe that he can't do it. He's not too tall or anything like that. He launches himself into initial contact with hard violence. He's got legitimate leg drive as well. So there is good stuff there. He's got a lot of college experience despite only being 21 when the season starts, and he should get better quickly in the coming years just because he's only 21. There's a lot of room for him to improve. Now, there are some downsides here, and I don't know if he's going to be a tackle, really. And I'm trying to be objective here. Objectively speaking, a right tackle is more valuable than a right guard by a pretty good margin. That's not to say that the Seahawks should look at things that way. They should value a right guard more right now because that's what they need. Objectively speaking, the right tackle is more valuable. So if Mauigoa has to slide inside at the NFL level, that's a problem. And he may end up getting moved inside because of his lack of length. He does kind of play up a little bit too high sometimes, it feels like, even though he's not that tall, has to sink the hips. He's just an okay athlete when it comes to open space stuff. It's not bad, but it's not really good. And I do think the speedier rushers will give him a little bit of a challenge here. So, little bit of a mixture of things to say here. Do you like sports? If you do, then the best way to make them even better and more exciting is using Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. Prize Picks makes daily fantasy simple. Just pick more or less on your favorite players' projections and build lineups with a few taps. Whatever sport you're into, Prize Picks gives you a fun way to stay locked in while you're watching. I've had a great time using Prize Picks so far. It makes this daily fantasy thing so easy and fun, and it even makes watching the games way more exciting. And with the cool social feeds feature, you can share lineups with your friends and even follow partners to tail or fade their picks. Obviously, we're in the NFL offseason right now, but we've got basketball, baseball, hockey, all kinds of other stuff, so don't be afraid to test things out in whatever sport clicks with you. You can even pick multiple sports in the same lineup and sweat everything at once. And don't forget about team picks, where you can pick winners, spreads, and totals on any major game. So, download Prize Picks, America's #1 sports app. And don't forget, Code HMA, that is HMA, gives you $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize picks. It's good to be right. And remember, always gamble responsibly. Okay, so I don't know how this plays out. I don't know if he's just going to play tackle. I don't know if he's going to be guard. He'll be good somewhere. So I get the value. I would go top 10. I don't know about top 5 because he's going to slide inside potentially. I'm a little bit wary of that. I do think that he's probably closer to like 8 or 9 on the big board. I haven't put together the final big board yet, but you guys know what I mean. All right. Spencer Fano of Utah is our next right tackle here, 21. Another guy who may, and in this case, you could even argue probably will slide inside. He is the same height as Mauigoa, which is great. He's not too tall. That's important. He's a little bit lighter, 311 pounds, but his arms are just over 32 inches. Even if the measurements were taken wrongly, this is still probably too much to realistically overcome. And he has baby hands, for whatever that's worth. He's a phenomenal athlete, though. Very fast, very quick, very explosive. Good change of direction. Every big board has him in the top 20 that I use. One has him top 5. The aggregate has him 12th. Kind of had a little bit of a down year on PFF grades in 2025, but his pass rush numbers improved massively. So our pass protection numbers improved dramatically. So the positives with Fano, supremely gifted run blocker, very good athlete for the position. So there's some stuff that really stands out here. Some people say that Fano is the most skilled and technically sound run blocker they've seen in years. He keeps his feet moving well, so he can stay in front of the rusher and not lean and not get off balance trying to keep in front of a rusher. He's really far along in terms of technique and form for a 21-year-old. He might be able to slide to left tackle if he can overcome the length because of his athleticism. Now, I think that's probably DOA, but it's possible. His hands are firm and fast when striking, so he uses his hands well, and he can get beat and recover back into the play because he is a good reactive athlete. So those are the pros. The cons are he's a little bit small for a right tackle, which is why some people think he might play at left tackle, except his arms are extremely short, so he might get stuck at guard. And if he's going to play guard, it's a little bit interesting. He's a little bit small for a right guard, but his main primary skill is run blocking. So it's a little bit interesting here. But he doesn't have optimal strength either. So even thinking about him as a guard is not ideal. So it's hard to know exactly where this ends up. He oversets against elite speed on the outside, I think. He does occasionally like slide too far, and he exposes his chest to the defender, which is naturally what happens when you have really short arms. So this is frustrating, man. This is a really, really gifted player. This guy could be special. This guy could stand out in any draft class, but the suboptimal strength and short length of arms combined to make him like kind of suboptimal here. Maybe he can cut the mustard at left guard. I kind of feel like that's where this ends up. His strength won't matter as much there. His length will be adequate there. Maybe he'll end up at left guard. Maybe even center. I don't know. But I don't think tackle's on the menu. And that is objectively a problem. And I don't know if right guard is because of the lack of power. So middle of the first for me. I got really excited about this guy at first. But the more you get into it, the more you're like, I wish I had a little bit more assurances here. Okay, final guy for this video, and this is more interesting to us as Seahawks fans. This is a guy that you could actually get at 32. The other two guys are off limits. This guy is not. Blake Miller. Blake Miller, Clemson, 22. He's almost 6'7", little under, 317 pounds, so typical tackle size. 34 and a quarter inch arm, so he has legitimate tackle length. Kind of small hands, but tested well overall. Tested very well. Good bench press, good 40, good vert, good broad. The big boards, mostly late first, a little bit of second. Aggregate puts him in the late first. PFF grades are solid, not spectacular. Is a little bit leaky in pass pro, but standard for a tackle. Not a lot of penalties either. He had 5 last year, which is not great, but it's fine. The year before that, he had 1. So he didn't become a superstar in college, but there's so much to like here. I really like Blake Miller. He's got NFL tackle level length. That's important. He was an absolute Iron Man in college. He never missed time. He played every game pretty much. I don't think he missed any time in college. Absolute Iron Man. Very strong, very stout, can run guys over, plays with power, leg drive, pretty good with all that. His form and technique when pass blocking is good. He understands the fundamentals very well. He's a good mobile athlete. He can move around. He can play in space. He's aggressive when engaging with his hands. So he is somebody who is able to get in there with his punches. And his pass rush slides are rapid and fast. Now, sometimes he will lunge into contact a little bit, maybe. There is a little bit of imbalance there. He will win a rep and then lose it with his lack of sustain sometimes because he doesn't have the greatest latch. And he will expose his chest before engagement sometimes, even though he has the longer arms. Now, I think most of those things are pretty fixable. I could see him playing tackle. I could see him playing guard. I think he's got a little bit of everything. The only issue with him playing guard is the height. He is a little bit taller than you would like for a guard. I think most of this stuff is fixable. I don't think Mauigoa and Fano are much better. I think they're probably better, but at the same time, Miller's the only guy who I think is guaranteed to be able to be good at tackle in the NFL. So I'd go top 20. And there's a part of me that almost wants to think that he's more valuable than Mauigoa and Fano. There is. I'm not going to go there yet, but I really like Blake Miller. I think he's pretty close to the full package. I just wish he was a little bit shorter. Okay, I will see you guys later. Go Hawks. Everybody have a good rest of your day. See you guys soon.